Hi, okay, so I'm putting together this tutorial to show you exactly how to do a mobile design on Aspire Builder. So right now I'm just showing this example on one of my clients who hired me for a one-on-one custom build for their website. So, but the same oops, my phone just went off. The same um, steps apply to any site that you're using on Aspire Builder, whether it be a template that you're using or a website, any like that you've got custom made for you, or any website on Aspire Builder at all. So it's going to be the same steps as far as making sure that mobile is optimized and designed correctly. So right now, obviously you can see that I'm on desktop. So this is her desktop version of her website. You can also preview, let me move this little picture. You can click website preview, and you're gonna see up here that we can preview it in desktop or tablet or mobile. Don't worry so much about tablet view because it's going to be the same as mobile, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. So this is gonna be the way desktop is viewed, and when you click here on phone, this is how it's going to show up on the phone. Now with Aspire Builder, it kind of changes it doesn't always port over to mobile exactly perfectly. So we're going to want to mobile optimize this. Okay, so the way we're going to do that is we're going to click back to the builder. So I did one section like right before I did this video, so you can get an idea of like what it looks like, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna click, so basically you're gonna be in builder mode and click down here on phone to be in mobile view, okay? Don't worry, like I said, about clicking on tablet view because it's just gonna be the same as mobile, okay? All right, so I'm going to try to explain this in the best way possible so it's not confusing. So as you can see right here, see where there's a purple line here and a purple line right here. And then in purple says mobile only, okay? That means that this block right here, this block is going to be viewed in mobile only. So, you know, they're not going to see this block on desktop, they're going to see this block in mobile view. The reason why is because if you see right here, I hid this block up here. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to unhide him really quick. So this is what it looked like. So this is the desktop version right now. So if I deleted this block right now, then it's going to delete it on desktop, which we don't want that. Because on desktop, if you remember, when I previewed it, I had like makeup in white, and then it said by Katrin Wyatt in purple, and the way I had the photo on desktop, it showed this very well, but obviously when it ported over to mobile, it looks not right because it's showing her cheek, or like her neck, I mean, and it's like you can't really read this writing right here, so I had to redesign this block. So basically for mobile, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be redesigning some blocks to mobile optimize to make it look better. Now, some blocks might look fine and you don't need to tweak them at all, okay? So pretty much all these blocks on here need to be tweaked. But the footer looks fine. We don't really need to mess with the footer. But yeah, I will show you another example maybe with another page on the site where it doesn't look like the block needs to be changed. I mean, honestly, this one, you really don't have to change this block because you really don't have to, but with my pickiness, I think when it says, hey, I'm Katrin, I would want her photo to be underneath that instead of all the way down here at the bottom. So maybe I'm going to put the image, I'm going to mobile optimize this block, and I'm going to put the image between like her name right here and this part. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So the reason why I wanted to show you about the purple lines is see how it says mobile only. Now, if I left this block unhidden, I'm going to just show you guys, okay? If I left this block unhidden, which is the desktop version, you're going to see that on mobile too. So let me click Save Changes. And now I'm going to preview it. Now that mobile only block that I showed you guys, we would not see that here on desktop because it was mobile only. So if someone viewed it on desktop, they're not going to see that block that said mobile only. But because I unhid this block, the desktop version, now you're seeing both of them on mobile. Does that make sense? So we only want one mobile only view for the block because obviously we don't want to duplicate it because then that just looks, you know, not right. So I'm going to hide this block. So you want to do mobile and tablet because like I said, mobile and tablet are basically the exact same. It's just tablets, just bigger. So I did this one, I designed this one, and now I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to design the next one. Okay, so what I do is I do one block at a time. I start with the first block at the top. I decide if it needs to be mobile optimized. If it looks fine, then I won't even touch it. I'll only do the ones that I feel like need to be redesigned. Now, one thing you want to note when you are redesigning blocks on your mobile is you want to make sure most people, when you edit your site, you're going to naturally, because it always opens up in desktop. Sorry, I need to move this. Whenever you are in the builder mode, it's always going to be in desktop initially. But say you wanted to change this, say you needed to change something that's in this block and you're updating some sort of words or something. But the reason why you want to be careful is because if I were to change anything like this text or anything in this block, I need to make sure that I also go on mobile and also change it on mobile as well because I duplicated it. Remember, well, I didn't show you yet, but as you can see, I duplicated this block. So it's not going to update this mobile one. Does that make sense? So it's going to update this one. It will, if I edited that desktop version, this is going to be updated, but this is hidden right now. So you'll want to go in on mobile as well and make sure you're making those changes on mobile too, because basically the mobile design and the desktop design are going to be different. So I'm going to show you guys the next block right here. So what I'm going to do is see I highlight over this block and see how there's one purple line. That means that this is desktop version. I don't want to get rid of this. I don't want to change it really because then it's going to change desktop and I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over this that says block and I'm going to click copy widget. And see this right here, this clipboard just bounced. That means that now this container, like this block, is now over here. So blocks, container, they mean the same thing. So what I'm going to do now that I copied this block, now I'm going to click hide and I want to hide it. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on the clipboard and here's the block container that I just copied. Now I'm going to drag it right here and add it right there. And there we go. Now I have a mobile only version for this. So now if I want, I can play around. I can, change things. I can move this image up where I want to move it, which is like right up here. I want it to be like, hey, I'm Ketrin. And then I'm going to make a little bit of space right here. Maybe it's a little too small. Make it a little bit bigger. Maybe we need some spline height for this so it's not so close. So there, hey, I'm Ketrin, but most call me Ket. All right, here we go. So I think that looks fine, honestly. You don't need to do too much, get too crazy with it. But yeah, so now this block I feel like is designed nicely for mobile. So now I'm going to click Save Changes, okay? Now I'm going to do the next thing. If I see this block needs to be fixed, then I'm going to change it. I think it looks a little weird, so I'm just going to kind of adjust it. So I'm going to click. But if, say for example, say you think this looks fine to you, this block doesn't bother you, you can just leave it and you don't need to duplicate this one. You don't need to make a mobile version of this block. You can just move on to the next if you feel like you don't need to change this one. But because I'm picky, I'm just going to copy this one. Well, you can move it under first if you want to. Like I basically am just going to put it under the block that I am copying, and then I'm going to hide this that version. So now this obviously got all messed up. I need to resize this down. Maybe make this a little bit smaller. It's more just like playing around with it until you feel like you've got the right look. There we go. And then maybe this, I will bring the font down a little bit, be like 16. And maybe I'll pull a little space. Maybe I want to add a little space up here. You can use a spacer or you can drag down. I'm just kind of doing both. So let me use that spacer, and yeah, that block looks fine. I click Save Changes. All right, now this is a slider, I believe. Yeah, no, it's a gallery. Okay, so this is a gallery. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna click Copy Widget. Put it down there underneath. There we go. Hide this one. I think for this one, we're gonna have to click Edit Images. No, that's not it. Edit Settings. Okay. So we might need to change the ratio of this. Let's try like square. I'm wondering if I need to add a spacer in it. Let me try. I haven't done this one. Yeah, spacer? No, no spacer. This one is a little tricky because it is a gallery. So maybe I could do, so if it's, since this is a carousel, meaning it's going like left to right, swiping like that, I could even do maybe a grid where it's like that, but maybe I don't want the images so big. I'm just playing around with it. Sometimes that's what you gotta do. You gotta, oops, I don't want to do that. You gotta play around with the different sizes. Yeah, probably for mobile I would do 1 per row. Oh wait, this makes it really a lot. Yeah, no. This makes it where they're all like that. So I think the best thing for this would be carousel and 1 image at a time. And then you can just choose which, yeah, and it'll just switch from left to right, because having it all the way down is just too, I don't think it looks good. So I would click Save Changes. Okay, so real quick, I just want to show one last thing is now I'm going to go pick a different page on the site. I'll just do like maybe like the About page. And I want to show you guys one more thing. So if you have a block that maybe you don't need to update the entire block, I don't know. Like say, for example, this block right here. This, I'll probably change this one because it's just so big and spacey. I don't like it. It looks crazy. So I'll do that in a second after this video. But just to like give you guys an example, if say, for example, you don't want to copy a block and it looks fine, like say this block, you know, where this purple line is, this one looks fine to you and you don't want to edit it. What you can do too is you can leave the block, and sometimes you can just add things to the block that only would be seen on mobile. So say you're like, oh, I don't need to redesign this entire page, but I do feel like there needs to be some space right here. So like you could, if you add any widget to this mobile like editing, it's only going to make it seen on mobile. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to grab the spacer, and this goes for any of those widgets that were there. If I put something like a widget in here, see how there's like this little purple mobile thing? That means that this space will only be seen on mobile. So I know that I am editing right now the desktop version of this block, but it's not going to mess with it, because if you add to the block with anything on mobile version, it's going to make this little purple phone, which means only mobile version will be able to see this space. Does that make sense? So it's not going to add space to it on desktop. It's not going to change that part. Now, when you take away from desktop, now you edit this text or you remove something or whatever, then it's going to affect the design on desktop as well. But if you're adding to this by adding a widget, like say I wanted to add another image right here. This image is only going to be seen on mobile, if that makes sense. Like, let me just find an image. So this image right here will not be added on the desktop version. Even though I am editing the desktop version of this, since I added this from mobile design, it has this little purple phone and only people with mobile will be able to see it. Now, I don't want to pull down, I don't want to move space from like this welcome. Like say I needed space in this underneath the welcome in this picture. If I were to pull space down, then it's going to edit that on desktop, if that makes sense. So what I would want to do is I'd want to add a spacer that only people would see on mobile and add that right there to create that space right there. So basically this, and this one would only be viewed on mobile, but desktop wouldn't show that. So hopefully that makes sense. If you don't want to, if that's a little confusing and you don't want to do it that way, then you can just do it the way that I showed you, where you just duplicate the entire, you copy the entire block and you do it. I showed you how you just copy the block and then you get it over here in the clipboard. You put it under this, this block. Now you've duplicated it. Cool. Now you can go and hide this, and now you need to go edit this. So now I need to add, spacer right here. Sorry, I'm trying to get it correct. Now you can add a spacer right here. You can edit this text size since it's freaking huge and it doesn't look right. Okay, you can pull it down, all that good stuff. I don't know why this is looking weird right now, but I actually have to do this for my client right now. For her site is mobile optimized this, so that's why I wanted to show you guys this tutorial. But yeah, hopefully this makes sense. This is now mobile version only, so I can move things around and play with this because mobile is being edited and desktop is hidden, so it's still there, but I'm not seeing it here on mobile so that it doesn't confuse me. Okay, I hope this video was helpful as far as optimizing and designing your mobile version of everything. Like I said, don't forget, if you're gonna have a desktop and a mobile version of certain blocks, you gotta make sure that you go update those blocks on mobile as well, because those will not change if you duplicated it in mobile. So, all right, thanks, and I hope this video is helpful. Bye, guys.